Have you ever wondered why, even though you know the law of attraction, your desires just won't come true? Maybe you visualize, make affirmations, follow every step of books and gurus, but in the silence of your mind, reality seems to resist. It's as if there's an invisible barrier between you and what you desire, a barrier that won't budge no matter how much you insist. But what if I told you that manifesting is much simpler than it seems? Simple enough that almost no one can do it right. The truth is that you are already immersed in a quantum field of infinite possibilities. And this field doesn't respond to effort, nor to the desperate attempt to control every detail. It responds to what you truly vibrate. The problem is that most people don't realize this. They repeat phrases they don't believe, forcing positive thoughts while their body still vibrates with fear, insecurity, and scarcity. This is where everything falls apart, because in the quantum universe, forcing is friction. The more you try to push reality, the further away it seems to get. The secret is not to fight what exists, but to align with what is already available. It's not about achieving something external, but about internally becoming the frequency that attracts that something to you. The quantum field already contains all possibilities: success and failure, abundance and scarcity, love and loneliness, health and illness. Everything exists simultaneously as potential, waiting to become reality. But nothing manifests until there is a conscious observer, someone who is truly aligned with that reality. In other words, until you deeply connect with the frequency of what you desire, these possibilities remain suspended, waiting for your coherent energy to collapse the wave into concrete experience. Manifesting isn't just about wishing. Desire is the seed, but the human mind often plants that seed in soil full of weeds. What are these weeds? Fears, doubts, past memories, insecurities. You can even water the seed of desire with daily affirmations, but if the soil is poisoned by hidden thoughts, the plant won't grow. What almost no one talks about is that the law of attraction doesn't respond to what you ask for, but rather to what you vibrate. And vibration isn't hidden. It's shaped by deep feelings, whether conscious or unconscious. If deep down you believe you don't deserve it, that it's difficult, or that it won't work out, the universe responds to that frequency, not to the words you're repeating. Imagine someone trying to listen to soft music while a creaky old radio plays in the background. Even though the melody is present, the noise drowns out the experience. This is how your vibrational field works. It's not just what you play that matters, but also the internal noise that interferes with the transmission. This is why many feel the law of attraction doesn't work. It works all the time, but it responds to real energy, not the facade we try to maintain. Until you clear the noise, desire remains stuck in the field of potential, never collapsing into reality. This internal noise is like an invisible shadow that accompanies every thought. Even when you project outward confidence, it silently whispers that things won't work out. And since the universe reads energy, not masks, it's this shadow that gains strength. True transformation begins when you stop pretending to yourself and decide to face the filth hidden in the soil of your mind. Only then can the seed of desire find a clear space to germinate and grow fully. Carl Jung said, "Until you become conscious of the unconscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it destiny." This phrase is key to understanding why you still don't manifest. The unconscious carries the deepest programming of your mind, beliefs formed in childhood, traumas, repetitions of family patterns. These beliefs are like invisible contracts you signed without realizing it. If you heard as a child that money is scarce, that love is hard work, or that success requires sacrifice, these ideas may be engraved as codes that shape your reality. You can repeat, "I am prosperous," 10,000 times, but if your subconscious doesn't agree, the manifestation won't materialize. The unconscious works like an iceberg. The part we see is just the tip, but it's the submerged part that directs its movement. This hidden part sustains 95% of your life, controlling behaviors, choices, and even your vibrational energy. Therefore, conscious desire isn't enough. You need to align your desire with the roots of your unconscious. This alignment doesn't happen with instant magic. It requires courage to look within, to acknowledge childhood wounds, sabotage patterns, and hidden fears. But when you access this place, you discover that the key to manifestation was never outside, but rather hidden within you, waiting to be retrieved. It's like entering an old house, where each room represents a forgotten memory. Some are lit, but others remain locked, filled with dust and objects you no longer remember storing. The unconscious is this house, and until you open the doors and clear what's hidden, vital energy doesn't circulate freely. By exploring these inner spaces, you release the weight of the past and create space for new realities to finally blossom. Maybe you've felt this way. You start off excited, visualize it, believe it, but within a few days, a subtle doubt creeps in. Will it work? Or when an opportunity presents itself, you unconsciously reject it, find excuses, or simply can't sustain the energy of what you asked for. This is the cycle of self-sabotage. Self-sabotage is the invisible response to limiting beliefs. It's like trying to swim against the current. No matter how hard you try, you end up back where you started. The worst part is that you often don't even realize you're sabotaging yourself. You justify it. It wasn't the right time. It wasn't meant to be, when, in fact, it was your subconscious that created obstacles to confirm your old belief. This cycle creates a psychological prison. With each failed attempt, the belief that it won't work grows stronger, creating a self-fulfilling prophecy. Thus, the person believes the universe is against them, when in fact, it's their own internal field that's blocking the flow of manifestation. Breaking this cycle requires self-awareness. You need to observe not only what you desire, but how you react when that desire begins to creep in. Ask yourself, am I somehow afraid of receiving what I asked for? Am I prepared to sustain the life I desire? These questions reveal game-changing truths. It's as if there's an internal thermostat regulating your life. When something threatens to exceed the level of success, happiness, or abundance you unconsciously believe you deserve, this thermostat triggers a self-sabotage mechanism to bring you back to your familiar zone. Identifying this pattern is crucial, because only then can you reset your mind's thermostat and allow your reality to expand beyond the limitations that have always controlled it. Manifesting is like dancing with the universe, but many enter this dance tense, rigid, trying to control every step. This rigidity is the energy of resistance, and it is one of the biggest blockers to manifestation. Resistance manifests as anxiety, haste, and desperation. You think, what if it doesn't work out? What if I miss my chance? What if I'm left with nothing? This energy sends a clear message to the universe. I don't trust. And when there's no trust, the vibration of desire doesn't flow. Think of a river trying to break through a dam. Water is abundant, but resistance creates barriers. You can increase the volume of water, but if the dam doesn't give way, the flow stops. Likewise, your internal resistance blocks the flow of the universe, keeping you stuck in scarcity and waiting. Breaking resistance doesn't mean giving up on desire, but rather releasing control over how and when it will arrive. It's making room for the unexpected, for the mystery of life, trusting that the universe responds when you're aligned. It's in this state of surrender that the energy of manifestation finds fertile ground to flourish. When you resist, you create tension, not only in your mind, but also in your body. Tight shoulders, shallow breathing, a racing heart all signal to the universe that you're on high alert, vibrating in survival, not abundance. Learning to relax, breathe deeply, and cultivate presence is like opening small cracks in a dam. Little by little, the water finds its way until the flow becomes inevitable. This simple practice of releasing the body and quieting the mind is often the detail that unlocks what seemed impossible to manifest. The mind creates thoughts, but it's emotions that imprint vibrational force on reality. Stray thoughts are like passing clouds. Emotions are storms that alter the energy field. Therefore, feeling is more powerful than simply repeating phrases. When you desire something, what truly attracts you is the emotion associated with it. It's not about wanting money, but about feeling security, freedom, and expansion. It's not about wanting a relationship, but about vibrating love, connection, and fulfillment. If the emotion accompanying desire is fear of not having it, the vibration emitted is one of scarcity, and that's what comes back to you. Emotions are internal compasses. They show whether or not you're aligned with your manifestation. If thinking about your desire generates tension, anxiety, or doubt, this is a sign of misalignment. If it generates peace, enthusiasm, and confidence, it means you're in the flow. Training emotional awareness is like learning to tune an instrument. The more you recognize and adjust your emotions, the clearer the melody of your vibration becomes, and the faster the universe responds to your music. It's important to understand that emotion isn't just a detail of the process, but the fuel that drives creation. A thought without emotion is like an arrow without a bow. It has no range. But a thought charged with true feeling crosses invisible distances and finds resonance in the quantum field. Therefore, learning to cultivate elevated emotions, gratitude, joy, love even before manifestation materializes is like turning on a beacon in the dark, guiding the universe directly to you. There's a common illusion, believing that manifesting is simply asking for whatever the mind desires. But many of these desires aren't genuine. They stem from ego, from comparison with others, from trying to fill internal voids with external achievements. When desire comes from this place, it loses strength because it's not rooted in your truth, but rather in lack. The frequency of authenticity arises when what you ask for is in tune with your essence. In these moments, there's no excessive effort, no excessive anxiety. It's as if life naturally conspires, opening paths, introducing the right people, and creating unexpected opportunities. This happens because your vibration is no longer in conflict. You ask for what you truly want, not what you think you should want. When you pursue something solely to prove your worth or meet external expectations, achievement brings only momentary relief, soon replaced by the emptiness of realizing it didn't fulfill what was needed. This is why so many people achieve goals and remain unhappy. The universe responds not to the image you project, but to the energy that pulses from your heart. So before you insist on manifesting, pause and ask yourself, is this desire born from my heart or from my fear of not being enough? This question may seem simple, but it's transformative. Because when desire is born from the heart, it carries such pure vibrational power that the universe not only listens but responds. It's like lighting an inner flame that illuminates the path. You don't need to chase it because what's yours begins to be attracted by this light. This is the magic of authenticity. When you align with what's true within you, you not only manifest more easily, but you also find the satisfaction that no external achievement alone could offer. Another invisible block is our relationship with time. The ego wants speed, immediacy, and guarantees, but the universe has its own rhythm, which often doesn't match the mind's rush. It's in this mismatch that frustration and disbelief arise. Divine timing isn't delay, it's alignment. Often, what you desire hasn't arrived yet because you're not prepared to receive it, or because other pieces of life's puzzle are still falling into place. The universe works in a network, and each manifestation is part of a larger plot. Accepting divine timing means trusting that what is yours will not be lost. It means abandoning the fight against the clock and entering the flow of life. When you let go of control, the process becomes lighter and manifestation happens without resistance. The ego fears waiting because it confuses waiting with absence. But in reality, waiting is part of gestation. Just as a seed needs time to sprout, your desires also need the right time to blossom. The secret is to keep the faith even when nothing seems to be happening. Patience in this process is not passivity, but active trust. It's the state of continuing to nurture desire with faith, emotion, and inspired action, without the anxiety of pulling the seed from the ground to see if it's growing. When you understand this, waiting ceases to be suffering and becomes preparation, creating inner space to receive what's already coming your way. After working through these layers, the unconscious, self-sabotage, resistance, authenticity, and divine timing, you can realize that true manifestation isn't about controlling reality, but about aligning with it. It's about clearing the internal noise and allowing your essence to be the antenna that transmits the correct frequency. The key to manifestation lies in uniting desire, emotion, confidence, and authenticity. It's when you stop asking anxiously and start vibrating with certainty. When you stop begging the universe and start co-creating with it. True manifestation is silent. It arises not from despair, but from inner peace. It comes not from doubt, but from the calm certainty that the universe is abundant and that you are already part of that abundance. And in this state, things begin to happen almost magically. Opportunities arise, unexpected encounters become doors, situations that once seemed like roadblocks become shortcuts. You realize you're no longer forcing, you're flowing. This is the point at which you understand that manifesting isn't a one-off act, but a lifestyle. It's about living in tune with your essence, recognizing the signs daily, adjusting your vibration, and trusting the process. When this becomes natural, the universe ceases to be a distant mystery and becomes a constant partner in your creative journey. Now you realize that the reason you're not yet manifesting isn't a lack of power, but rather the presence of internal blocks. Recognizing this is already a giant step, because all transformation begins with looking within. Therefore, I invite you to write in the comments a word that represents the energy you wish to cultivate from this moment on. It will be like a small quantum seed planted not only in this space, but within you, a simple gesture that carries the potential for transformation. If this video sparked something in you, an insight, a memory, a spark of awareness, I invite you to subscribe to the channel. This isn't just a content space. It's a meeting place for those ready to access their own creative power. By clicking subscribe, you're not just joining a list. You're joining a movement of people who, like you, are reshaping their realities and expanding their consciousness. Remember, you're not just a spectator, you're an active participant in this manifestation process. And this is just a glimpse of what we'll explore. As a messenger, I will bring new perspectives, insights, and paths that will touch your consciousness and awaken what you haven't yet perceived within yourself. Stay tuned, because the journey is ongoing, and each discovery is an invitation to delve deeper into your own creative power. The best is yet to come, and I will be here, bringing every fragment of light to guide you forward.